Actually, no need for intro, let's just get right to it. In my Before Crisis review, I talked about Shinra's Secret Service agents, aka the Turks. This game focuses on Shinra's military. Shinra's military contain infantry and the branch for elite soldiers named Soldier. The guys in Soldier are genetically enhanced, kind of like how Captain America was. These super soldiers are trademarked by their glowing eyes. Soldier has 3 ranks, 3rd class, 2nd class, and 1st class being the highest. So the game begins 7 years before the original game. It starts out a bit similar to Final Fantasy VII with the train and the infantry, only it's a VR training mission. Not too long after, Zack and his mentor Angeal go to Wutai on a mission to end the war with Shinra and Wutai. Wutai was once an independent nation until they lost the war with Shinra, becoming a resort tourist sort of town. What's really important though is the missing first class soldier Genesis. There are 3 soldier first class members, which are Genesis, Angeal, and Sephiroth. During the mission, Angeal disappears off someplace. Zack and Sephiroth, on the other hand, find Genesis clones. Then, once the mission is over, Zack is then sent on another mission to Genesis and Angeal's hometown, Benora, which has the famous dumb apples. It's also here we realize that Cloud's iconic Buster Sword has a deep meaning. It was Angeal's at first, and it represented dreams and honor, which is the ongoing theme of this game. It is here that Zack finds out, well... So Genesis is the main antagonist of this game, and Angeal is with him some of the time. Angeal is a very respectable man, however he becomes a very hard man to read throughout the game. It is implied that he kills his mother, but then the game later implies that it was suicide. The Shinra Corporation destroys the town of Benora to cover up the misconduct of people related to Shinra, which is why you don't see this town in Final Fantasy VII. And for a while, Zack and Sephiroth take time to investigate what is going on with Angeal and Genesis. Sephiroth also gets a bit of character development here. Sephiroth at this time is a famous hero that Cloud looked up to and wanted to be like him. Zack wanted to become a hero too, though it is never stated if Sephiroth inspired him to become one. We learn that Sephiroth had a life outside of being a hero. Angeal, Sephiroth, and Genesis were friends who hung out together. It is mainly highlighted through this cutscene where it seems like they are on the Junon Mako cannon, aka the Sister Ray. In actuality though, they are at the Shinra building experiencing this through virtual reality, but anyway. They pretty much just hang out and then do a little duel with just the 3 of them. By the way, am I the only one who thought Genesis looked like a woman before playing this game? Genesis was also jealous of the glory Sephiroth got, and Sephiroth accidentally wounded Genesis during the duel. After this, Genesis starts degrading, or in other words, aging faster than he should. Genesis was born from a science project and was injected with Genova cells. Genova is pretty much an alien that crash landed on Gaia thousands of years before the time period of this game. Scientists, particularly Hojo, have done obsessive research and experiments related to this alien. Genesis goes to Professor Hollander for help with his degrading. Hollander has a grudge against Shinra due to his rival Professor Hojo getting a job there and not him. Angeal was born of Genova cells as well, which was injected into his mother. I'm getting Star Wars vibes with the midichlorians here. Genesis, on the other hand, was a failed science experiment. Angeal clones also exist, and Angeal gave one last order for Zack to kill him. Why? Because Angeal's cells can be passed on to others as well as create clones, or simply put, monsters of him. And Angeal's death would stop that. Well, coming from him at least. Zack gets the Buster Sword after Angeal dies, and of course he does mourn during this time as Angeal was a guy he respected. Oh, and did I mention that Zack went from Soldier 2nd class to Soldier 1st class? Yep, he is now 1st class. Soon after this, Zack and Sephiroth go investigate a Mako reactor in Nibelheim. Yep, this is that famous Nibelheim incident that I've been hinting at the past couple videos. The Mako reactor contains the alien Jenova that I mentioned earlier. Also, do you remember when I said members of Soldier are genetically enhanced? Well, there are these monsters in the reactor that, let's say, have been enhanced too much and are now monsters. Yeah, that is the risk of being enhanced with Mako. Upon looking into this, Sephiroth has a mental breakdown and questions who he really is. Sephiroth knew he was a special type of human being, but it's after seeing these monsters and what Hojo's science experiments do that he really questions himself. Genesis comes in and pretty much confirms this, as Angeal, Genesis, and Sephiroth all had experiments done to them with Jenova's cells. By the way, the reason why Genesis can degrade and Sephiroth cannot is, let's just say Sephiroth is special. So Sephiroth then spends loads of time in isolation researching anything related to him. He learns the science behind who he is, was told his mother's name is Jenova, and he comes to the conclusion that he must avenge his alien mother, take back the planet from the human population, and this basically motivates him to take over the world and rule as a god for himself and Jenova. So yeah, Sephiroth went from a hero who valued his friends to a murdering and hateful villain in a very short time. He burns down the village of Nibelheim, killing the townspeople, but is ultimately stopped by Cloud after Zack was wounded after his fight with him. I should probably mention Last Order Final Fantasy VII. It is basically a retelling of the Nibelheim incident from the perspective of the Turks. It's a 25-minute anime short that's on YouTube if you are interested in watching it. Cloud and Zack were then taken in as experiments. They were pretty much asleep for a few years, so fast forward a few years. Zack wakes up, but Cloud was pretty much still in a coma from too much Mako being inside of him. So then Zack carries him around while also figuring out what he's going to do next. Zack deals with Genesis once and for all, although Genesis is not confirmed dead as he is taken away by what seems to be Shinra employees. Zack was now given the death sentence from the Shinra Corporation for being an escaped science experiment. Zack makes a final stand against a bunch of Shinra soldiers, and remember how I said the DMW was related to Zack's thoughts in part 1 of this review? Well, basically his thoughts and memories start fading away, and now he was dealt the final blow, and within minutes of dying, he passes his legacy, dreams, honor, and his Buster Sword onto Cloud. Woo boy, that's a lot of story. It is a good story, though I will say some parts tend to be a little confusing. I had to do a bit of extra research to make sure I understood the story right before explaining it to you guys. I enjoyed this story because Zack played such a small role in the original game, yet made a huge impact on the story. It is nice to be able to see what kind of character he is and how he grows. I like how he sees the best in people and is able to treat others lower than him as his equals, such as Cloud. If I'm being honest though, I do wish I saw Zack and Cloud hang out more often outside of work to flesh out their friendship. Zack dates Aerith, and this game is the reason why I ship Aerith with Zack. The game I think tries to do another love triangle thing with Aerith, Zack, and Cissnei, but the game doesn't do much with Cissnei. It's also a little sad to see that Zack had to kill his mentor Angeal. Also, that ending. I shed a tear when I beat this game for the first time, and part of the contributing factor was a rendition of Aerith's theme that plays. It was actually the first time I heard Aerith's theme, and when I heard it, I let out a tear thinking, oh, why is this song here? Zack, it was great to get to know you. This game looks great. Oh, don't believe me? Oh, trust me, it looks great on the PSP itself. One thing I really like about Square Enix games is the presentation. That cutscene with Sephiroth, Angeal, and Genesis is awesome. And the summons are a real treat for the eyes too. It was awesome 10 years ago when I played this, and it still looks great today. The audio, okay, I really love the music in this game. Of course, it's Final Fantasy, why would I not like the music? Final Fantasy contains some of my favorite music along with Zelda, Donkey Kong Country, and Chrono Cross. The voice acting on the other hand, it's passable I would say. I mean, it's not bad, but let's start with Zack.
Oh yeah!
I think Zack's voice fits him perfectly, although he does have a cheesy one-liner here and there.
Soldier second class Zack on the job!
And I like that there is emotion to his voice, like when he sounds happy, he sounds happy.
And?
And when he's mad, he sounds mad. However, to me though...
Is that your idea of honor?
Genesis sounds like he's reading off the script and is just getting paid to do that.
No matter where the winds may blow. I don't see Sephiroth today, but are you game?
I should probably criticize Sephiroth's voice for the same thing, but I won't. One, when I played Final Fantasy VII on the PS1, I imagine him sounding like that when I'm reading his dialogue. Second, I think it's very suitable for his personality. I mean, the game's voice acting is better than Final Fantasy X. I mean, don't get me wrong, 10 is actually my third favorite Final Fantasy. So yeah, I still think this is one of the best Final Fantasy spin-off games. It has a good story, in fact, one of the most emotional in the entire series. I give this game an 8 out of 10. When I replay this game again, it will be on normal due to this game's unpredictable way of leveling up, but might do hard mode because of New Game Plus. I mean, I appreciate the developers for thinking outside the box and taking risks. I mean, the DMW can be generous with its rewards, but not everything about it pays off, I think. It worked, it's just the principle that I'm not really on board with. I would say this made a significant contribution to the Final Fantasy VII universe because Sephiroth got really good character development in this, and Zack played a very small part in the original FF7 but made a big impact on the story. This game lets us get to know him, and he was a likable character that made me sad to see him go at the end. The materia system is still a good system, and I love the materia fusion system. I like leveling up materia and then mixing it with other materia to get better materia. And yes, Zack, you did become a hero. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, and I will see you guys next time for Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII.